The planet Ceres 9 bore the scars of humanity's most devastating military defeat. Twisted metal landscapes stretched to the horizon, a graveyard of technological dreams where fallen machines told stories of desperate resistance. Major Elena Rodriguez moved with calculated precision, her adaptive environment suit filtering toxic dust and scanning the seemingly endless field of destruction. 3 standard years had passed since the Kraxan Empire's overwhelming assault. Their technological superiority had been absolute, crushing human resistance across multiple star systems with a cold, mechanical efficiency that seemed almost supernatural. Most of humanity believed the war was over, that their species had been reduced to a footnote in galactic history. Elena knew better. Her fingers traced the edge of a fractured drone component, feeling the microscopic pulse of dormant circuitry. Most salvage teams would have overlooked this fragment as worthless, a piece of scrap metal slowly corroding under the harsh twin suns of Ceres 9. But Elena's eyes saw something different. Where others perceived destruction, she detected potential. The suit's advanced sensor array began mapping the fragment's internal structure. Quantum-level networks flickered with residual energy, creating intricate patterns that most scanning systems would miss. Elena's specialized training, developed in the last desperate months of the war, allowed her to read these technological whispers like an archaeologist deciphering ancient text. "Command, are you receiving?" She spoke softly into her communication implant. The response came immediately, a burst of encrypted data that materialized as a holographic overlay within her helmet. "Affirmative, Major Rodriguez. Preliminary scans indicate unusual energy signatures," responded Dr. Karina Volkov, her primary research coordinator. The woman's voice carried a mixture of scientific excitement and cautious restraint. Elena knelt, carefully extracting a series of fragmented circuit boards from beneath a collapsed artillery platform. The platform itself was a monument to human engineering, or what remained of it. Kraxan weapons had turned the massive defense system into a twisted sculpture of molten metal and shattered composite materials. The battlefield of Ceres 9 represented more than just a military defeat. It was a symbol of humanity's seemingly insurmountable challenge. The Kraxan Empire's technological capabilities had been so advanced that human military forces had been systematically dismantled across multiple star systems. Entire planetary defense networks had fallen within weeks, and humanity had been pushed to the brink of extinction. Yet something remained, something the Kraxan could not understand. Elena's current mission was part of a last-ditch effort to uncover whatever technological advantage might have been overlooked during the initial conflict. While most military strategists had surrendered hope, a small group of researchers and surviving military personnel believed that humanity's defeat was not absolute. The adaptive suit responded to her movements, its nanomaterial shifting and recalibrating with each step. Standard military equipment would have been rendered useless in this environment. Toxic atmosphere, extreme radiation, unpredictable electromagnetic disruptions. But this suit, like everything Elena now used, was anything but standard. A distant sound caught her attention, a low, mechanical vibration that seemed to pulse through the metallic landscape. Most would have dismissed it as wind or environmental interference. Elena knew better. Her hand moved instinctively to the compact weapon system integrated into her suit's design, a device that could transform from a scanning tool to a defensive weapon in milliseconds. "Volkov, are you getting this?" She subvocalized, her eyes scanning the horizon. The response was immediate. Quantum resonance detected. "Something is responding to your proximity." The fragments she had collected began to emit a soft, almost imperceptible glow. Microscopic networks were activating, creating connections that defied traditional understanding of technological integration. Elena understood then that this was more than a simple salvage operation. This was the beginning of something unprecedented. The twin suns of Ceres 9 cast long shadows across the battlefield, illuminating countless fragments of destroyed technology. To the Kraxan, this would appear as nothing more than a graveyard of defeated machines. To Elena Rodriguez, it represented something entirely different. a battlefield of potential, a landscape of hope, and humanity's last, most unexpected weapon. The underground research complex stretched beneath the ruins of what was once a thriving scientific research center. Buried 6 kilometers beneath the surface of New Terra, the facility represented humanity's last sanctuary of innovation. Dr. Marcus Chen stood before a holographic display that shimmered with impossibly complex data patterns, his fingers moving like a conductor orchestrating an invisible symphony of information. Another transmission from Rodriguez called out Dr. Karina Volkov, her voice cutting through the low hum of advanced computing systems. The fragments are showing signs of quantum entanglement we've never seen before. Marcus studied the incoming data, his mind racing through layers of potential interpretations. The holographic display transformed, breaking down the molecular structure of the salvage technology into intricate, three-dimensional networks that seemed to pulse with an almost living energy. The research complex was more than a laboratory. It was humanity's last hope, a final repository of scientific knowledge and potential salvation. After the devastating war with the Kraxan Empire, only a handful of the most brilliant minds remained. They had been scattered, hidden, surviving on nothing more than determination and the faintest hope of resistance. "Look at this," Marcus muttered, manipulating the holographic display. Microscopic networks within the recovered technology began to reveal patterns that defied conventional understanding. Where alien technologies were designed with rigid, specialized purposes, these human-created fragments demonstrated an unprecedented level of adaptive potential. Dr. Volkov approached, her augmented reality interface projecting additional layers of analysis. The quantum networks, they're not just storing information. They're reconfiguring themselves. Marcus had spent years studying what most considered impossible. While the Kraxan Empire relied on precise, specialized technological systems, human equipment seemed to possess an inherent flexibility that bordered on the miraculous. Each fragment was not just a piece of technology. It was a potential seed of something entirely new. The research team had discovered something revolutionary. Human technological systems didn't just break. They transformed. Where the Kraxans saw destruction, humans saw opportunity for reinvention. A proximity alarm interrupted his thoughts. Marcus turned to see a sealed entrance opening, revealing Major Elena Rodriguez. Her adaptive suit was covered in fine metallic dust, evidence of her recent salvage mission. The suit itself was a testament to human ingenuity, a living system that adapted to environmental challenges in real time. "We've got something," Elena said, her voice carrying a mixture of exhaustion and excitement. She placed a collection of fractured technological components on the central analysis platform. The moment the fragments touched the surface, the entire research complex seemed to come alive. Holographic displays flickered, quantum sensors began rapid-fire calculations, and the very air vibrated with potential energy. Marcus leaned forward, his eyes wide with scientific wonder. "These are not just machine parts," he whispered. "These are something else entirely." Each fragment began to emit a soft, almost imperceptible glow. Microscopic networks started to form connections that should have been impossible. Traditional understanding suggested that destroyed technology remained destroyed, but these fragments were telling a different story. "The quantum resonance is increasing," Volkov reported, her fingers dancing across multiple interface screens. "It's like the components are communicating with each other." Elena watched the process, her military training allowing her to see beyond the scientific abstraction. These were not just research results. These were the building blocks of survival. The Kraxan Empire had believed their technological superiority was absolute. They had systematically dismantled human military and technological infrastructure, believing they had crushed humanity's potential for resistance, but they had failed to understand a fundamental truth about human innovation. Destruction, to humans, was just another form of creation. Marcus began to piece together the profound implications of their discovery. Human technology didn't just break, it evolved. Each fragment contained the potential to become something entirely new. Where alien civilizations built precise, specialized systems, humans created technologies with inherent flexibility. "We're not repairing technology," Marcus said, his voice gaining intensity. "We're giving birth to an entirely new approach to technological development." The underground research complex stretched beneath the ruins of what was once a thriving scientific research center. Buried 6 kilometers beneath the surface of New Terra, the facility represented humanity's last sanctuary of innovation. Dr. Marcus Chen stood before a holographic display that shimmered with impossibly complex data patterns, his fingers moving like a conductor orchestrating an invisible symphony of information. Another transmission from Rodriguez called out Dr. Karina Volkov, her voice cutting through the low hum of advanced computing systems. "The fragments are showing signs of quantum entanglement we've never seen before." Marcus studied the incoming data, his mind racing through layers of potential interpretations. The holographic display transformed, breaking down the molecular structure of the salvage technology into intricate, three-dimensional networks that seemed to pulse with an almost living energy. The research complex was more than a laboratory. It was humanity's last hope, a final repository of scientific knowledge and potential salvation. After the devastating war with the Kraxan Empire, only a handful of the most brilliant minds remained. They had been scattered, hidden, surviving on nothing more than determination and the faintest hope of resistance. "Look at this," Marcus muttered, manipulating the holographic display. Microscopic networks within the recovered technology began to reveal patterns that defied conventional understanding. Where alien technologies were designed with rigid, specialized purposes, these human-created fragments demonstrated an unprecedented level of adaptive potential. Dr. Volkov approached, her augmented reality interface projecting additional layers of analysis. The quantum networks, they're not just storing information, they're reconfiguring themselves. Marcus had spent years studying what most considered impossible. While the Kraxan Empire relied on precise, specialized technological systems, human equipment seemed to possess an inherent flexibility that bordered on the miraculous. Each fragment was not just a piece of technology. It was a potential seed of something entirely new. The research team had discovered something revolutionary. Human technological systems didn't just break. They transformed. Where the Kraxan saw destruction, humans saw opportunity for reinvention. A proximity alarm interrupted his thoughts. Marcus turned to see a sealed entrance opening, revealing Major Elena Rodriguez. Her adaptive suit was covered in fine metallic dust, evidence of her recent salvage mission. The suit itself was a testament to human ingenuity, a living system that adapted to environmental challenges in real time. "We've got something," Elena said, her voice carrying a mixture of exhaustion and excitement. She placed a collection of fractured technological components on the central analysis platform. The moment the fragments touched the surface, the entire research complex seemed to come alive. Holographic displays flickered, quantum sensors began rapid-fire calculations, and the very air vibrated with potential energy. Marcus leaned forward, his eyes wide with scientific wonder. "These are not just machine parts," he whispered. "These are something else entirely." Each fragment began to emit a soft, almost imperceptible glow. Microscopic networks started to form connections that should have been impossible. Traditional understanding suggested that destroyed technology remained destroyed, but these fragments were telling a different story. "The quantum resonance is increasing," Volkov reported, her fingers dancing across multiple interface screens. "It's like the components are communicating with each other." Elena watched the process, her military training allowing her to see beyond the scientific abstraction. These were not just research results. These were the building blocks of survival. The Kraxan Empire had believed their technological superiority was absolute. They had systematically dismantled human military and technological infrastructure, believing they had crushed humanity's potential for resistance, but they had failed to understand a fundamental truth about human innovation. Destruction, to humans, was just another form of creation. Marcus began to piece together the profound implications of their discovery. Human technology didn't just break, it evolved. Each fragment contained the potential to become something entirely new. Where alien civilizations built precise, specialized systems, humans created technologies with inherent flexibility. "We're not repairing technology," Marcus said, his voice gaining intensity. "We're giving birth to an entirely new approach to technological development." The fractured components continued their mysterious dance of reconnection. Quantum networks expanded, contracted, and reformed in patterns that defied traditional scientific understanding. To the untrained eye, it might have appeared random, but Marcus saw the underlying logic, a form of technological creativity that was uniquely human. Outside the research complex, the remnants of human civilization waited. Scattered across multiple star systems, survivors held on to the faintest hope of resistance. They did not know it yet, but the seeds of their salvation were being planted in this underground laboratory. Humanity's most powerful weapon was not a gun, a ship, or a weapon. It was the ability to see potential where others saw only destruction. The Kraxan High Council chamber pulsed with an eerie blue light, casting long shadows across the faces of the most powerful leaders in the known galaxy. Holographic displays flickered with incoming intelligence reports, each transmission more perplexing than the last. Supreme Strategist Vornak studied the data with increasing frustration. Humans were supposed to be defeated, broken, eliminated as a meaningful technological civilization. "Explain," he demanded, his multi-jointed appendages moving with precise, controlled aggression. High Analyst Zelra stepped forward, her neural interface projecting a complex series of technological analyses. The reports defied every known principle of military intelligence. Destroyed human equipment was somehow reconstructing itself. Damaged systems were transforming into entirely new technological configurations that bypassed all standard threat assessment protocols. "The human technological response is unprecedented," Zelra reported, her voice carrying a rare hint of uncertainty. "Our initial assessment of total technological superiority appears to be fundamentally flawed." The chamber fell silent. For the Kraxan, silence was a dangerous thing, a moment of potential vulnerability that their rigid hierarchical society rarely permitted. Vornak's primary neural cluster pulsed with calculated anger. The Kraxan Empire had spent centuries perfecting a technological approach based on absolute specialization. Each piece of equipment was designed for a single, precise purpose. Efficiency was their ultimate goal. Adaptability was seen as a fundamental weakness. The incoming reports told a different story. Scattered human military units were now deploying technological systems that defied conventional understanding. A destroyed communications array would suddenly become a sophisticated targeting system. Damaged defensive platforms transformed into mobile reconnaissance units. It was as if human technology possessed a form of technological life that the Kraxan could not comprehend. "Show me the specifics," Vornak demanded. The holographic display shifted, revealing a series of battlefield analyses. In one scenario, a heavily damaged human transport vehicle had been transformed into a mobile sensor platform with capabilities that exceeded their most advanced reconnaissance equipment. Another report detailed a communication system cobbled together from fragments of destroyed artillery platforms. Zelra's analysis continued. The humans are not repairing their technology. They are reimagining it. The concept was alien to Kraxan understanding. Their technological systems were designed with absolute precision. Each component had a specific purpose, a defined function. Deviation was not just inefficient, it was fundamentally wrong. But these humans were different. "Our initial computational models are failing," Zelra continued. "Their technological response cannot be predicted using standard strategic algorithms." Vornak's neural interfaces began running multiple simultaneous threat assessments. Each simulation produced increasingly complex and unpredictable results. The humans were introducing a level of technological chaos that their systems could not process. A younger strategist, Nakter, spoke up. "Perhaps we should consider a different approach to understanding their technological methodology." The suggestion was heretical. In Kraxan society, Questioning established technological paradigms was nearly unthinkable. Yet these reports demanded a radical reconsideration of everything they understood about technological warfare. The human approach suggests a form of technological thinking we have not encountered, Zelra explained. Their systems do not simply function. They adapt. They transform. Vornak's primary neural cluster pulsed with a mixture of frustration and emerging respect. The Kraxan had believed their technological superiority was absolute. They had systematically dismantled human military infrastructure across multiple star systems. Victory had seemed inevitable. Now something unexpected was emerging. The holographic displays continued to show impossible technological transformations. Destroyed equipment became new systems. Damaged components merged into configurations that defied traditional understanding. It was as if the humans possessed a fundamental technological creativity that the Kraxan could not comprehend. "We are missing something," Vornak finally concluded. Something fundamental about their approach to technology. The chamber fell silent once more. For the first time in the Kraxan Empire's long history, their absolute technological confidence was being challenged. The humans were not just surviving. They were evolving. And the Kraxan were beginning to understand that technological superiority was about more than precise design. It was about the ability to see potential where others saw only destruction. The adaptive strike team moved like liquid metal across the fractured terrain of Outpost Delta 9. Major Elena Rodriguez led the unit, each member equipped with technology that defied traditional military understanding. Their equipment was alive, constantly shifting, transforming, adapting to the most challenging combat environment imaginable. Lieutenant Alex Chen, no relation to Dr. Marcus Chen, carried what appeared to be a standard reconnaissance pack. But in the blink of an eye, the pack could become a sophisticated communication array, a defensive energy shield, or a precision targeting system. The line between equipment and operator had become beautifully blurred. Incoming Kraxan patrol patterns, Elena vocalized through her neural interface. The team's adaptive suits began to reconfigure, microscopic networks shifting color and texture to match the surrounding terrain. Camouflage was no longer just a matter of static coloration. It was a dynamic, real-time adaptation. Their mission was simple, yet nothing about this team was simple. Outpost Delta 9 represented a strategic point of potential resistance. The Kraxan believed the location was completely neutralized, a wasteland of destroyed human infrastructure. They had no idea that humanity's most advanced technological weapon was about to demonstrate its true potential. Sergeant Maria Rodriguez, Elena's cousin, carried what initially looked like a damaged artillery targeting system. But as the team moved into position, the device began to transform. Quantum networks inside the equipment started to reconfigure, merging fragments from multiple destroyed systems. System integration at 87% and climbing, Maria reported, her voice calm and steady. The team represented humanity's most advanced technological experiment. Each member was part soldier, part engineer, trained to see potential in every technological fragment. Where traditional military units saw broken equipment, this team saw opportunities for reinvention. A Kraxan reconnaissance drone appeared on their long-range sensors. Traditional military doctrine would suggest evasion or defensive positioning. But this team operated differently. Opportunity, Elena called out. Lieutenant Chen's adaptive pack began to shift. Multiple fractured communication systems merged, creating a quantum interference field. The Kraxan drone's sensor systems would be unable to penetrate their position. But they weren't just going to hide. The drone swept closer. Maria's transformed targeting system came to life. But it was no longer just a targeting system. Fragments of destroyed communication arrays merged with sensor networks, creating a weapon that was part signal disruptor, part precision targeting mechanism. A single pulse of quantum-encoded energy erupted from Maria's device. The Kraxan drone didn't just fail. It transformed. Its destroyed systems merged and reconfigured. What was once a sophisticated alien reconnaissance platform became a distributed sensor network that now worked for human intelligence gathering. The Kraxan would never know their own technology had been turned against them. Adaptive capture complete, Maria reported. Elena moved the team forward. Each step was a testament to human innovation. Damaged environmental sensors became advanced communication relays. Fractured defensive systems merged into mobile protective networks. Every piece of equipment told a story of transformation. The Kraxan had believed they could defeat humanity by destroying their infrastructure, but they fundamentally misunderstood a crucial aspect of human technological approach. Destruction, to humans, was just another form of creation. As they approached the primary objective, the team's adaptive suits continued their miraculous transformation. Damaged communication systems became advanced sensor networks. Fractured defensive platforms merged into mobile protective shields. Each team member was a walking testament to human technological creativity. "We're approaching the primary target zone," Elena announced. The landscape around them was a graveyard of destroyed technological systems. To the Kraxan, this would appear as nothing more than a field of defeated machinery. To Elena's team, it was a battlefield of infinite potential. Lieutenant Chen's adaptive pack transformed again. What had been a reconnaissance system was now a sophisticated jamming device that would render Kraxan communication systems completely ineffective. Fragments of destroyed equipment merged in ways that defied traditional technological understanding. Sergeant Maria Rodriguez prepared her transformed targeting system. The device was no longer just a weapon. It was a living, adaptive technological organism that could reconfigure itself based on immediate environmental challenges. They were more than a military unit. They were a walking demonstration of humanity's most powerful weapon, the ability to see potential where others saw only destruction. And the Kraxan had no idea what was about to hit them. The research complex descended deeper than most understood. 6 levels beneath the primary laboratory, Dr. Marcus Chen stood before a collection of holographic displays that mapped something far more profound than mere technological systems. He was charting the very essence of human innovation. "It's not about the technology," Marcus muttered, his fingers tracing complex quantum network patterns. "It's about the philosophy of potential." Dr. Karina Volkov approached, her augmented interface projecting additional layers of analysis. The displays around them showed more than scientific data. They illustrated a fundamental difference between human technological approach and every other known civilization in the galaxy. The Kraxan believed in absolute specialization. Each technological system was designed for a precise, singular purpose. Efficiency was their ultimate goal. Flexibility was considered a critical weakness. Humans saw the world differently. Marcus's latest research revealed a profound truth. Human technological innovation wasn't about creating perfect systems. It was about creating adaptive ecosystems of potential. Where other civilizations saw boundaries, humans saw opportunities for transformation. "Look at this," he said, expanding a holographic model that showed the quantum networks of a destroyed communication array. The networks didn't just store information. They remembered. They learned. They transformed. Each fragment of technology carried a form of technological memory. Damaged systems didn't simply break. They evolved. They remembered their original purpose while simultaneously imagining new possibilities. Volkov studied the display. "It's like the technology is alive," she observed. "Exactly," Marcus responded. "Not alive in a biological sense, but alive in terms of potential. Each fragment contains the memory of what it was and the possibility of what it could become." The research went far beyond military applications. This was a fundamental reimagining of technological development. Traditional technological approaches saw equipment as static. Humans saw them as dynamic, evolving systems. A notification interrupted his thoughts. Major Elena Rodriguez was approaching the deep research level, a rare occurrence. When Elena entered, her adaptive suit transformed slightly, adjusting to the complex quantum environment. Marcus could see the microscopic networks in her equipment responding to the research complex's unique energy signatures. "We've got something from the field tests," she reported. The adaptive strike team just turned a Kraxan surveillance drone into a distributed sensor network. Marcus smiled. Each practical application further confirmed their theoretical research. Humanity's approach to technology was fundamentally different from any other known civilization. The holographic displays began to show a comprehensive model of human technological thinking. Where other civilizations built precise, specialized systems, humans created technologies with inherent flexibility. Each piece of equipment was not just a tool. It was a potential. "It's a philosophical approach," Marcus explained, knowing Elena would understand. Other civilizations see technology as a solution to a specific problem. We see technology as a conversation, a dialogue between what is and what could be. Elena nodded. Her military background had always understood this intuitively. Survival wasn't about having the perfect tool. It was about the ability to transform your tools to meet unexpected challenges. The displays continued to show the complex quantum networks. They weren't just storing information. They were creating relationships, connections that could not be predicted by traditional computational models. "The Kraxan will never understand this," Volkov observed. Marcus agreed. The Kraxan approach to technology was about control, precision, absolute specialization. They saw flexibility as a weakness. Humans saw it as the ultimate strength. The research complex hummed with potential energy. Quantum sensors detected microscopic transformations happening across multiple technological fragments. Each fragment was a story waiting to be told, a possibility waiting to be discovered. "We're not just developing technology," Marcus said, his voice carrying a sense of profound discovery. "We're creating a technological philosophy, an approach that sees potential where others see limitations." Elena looked at the displays. To her, they represented more than scientific research. They represented hope. The Kraxan Empire had believed they could defeat humanity by destroying their infrastructure, but they had fundamentally misunderstood a crucial aspect of human technological approach. Destruction, to humans, was just another form of creation. The holographic displays continued to pulse with quantum potential. Each fragment of technology told a story of transformation, of possibility, of a civilization that refused to be defined by its limitations. Humanity's most powerful weapon was not a gun, a ship, or a traditional weapon. It was the ability to see potential where others saw only destruction. The battle for the Nexus Corridor would determine the fate of multiple star systems. Kraxan battleships filled the vast space around the strategic planetary system, their metallic hulls gleaming with technological precision. They believed victory was inevitable. They believed humanity was defeated. They were wrong. Major Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the adaptive response vessel Phoenix, a ship that was less a traditional spacecraft and more a living technological ecosystem. Around her, the crew moved with a synchronicity that blurred the line between human operators and their adaptive equipment. "Incoming Kraxan fleet configuration," Lieutenant Alex Chen reported. His console was a constantly shifting network of quantum adaptive displays. 17 primary battle platforms, 47 support vessels. Dr. Marcus Chen's voice came through the communication network. "Remember, every piece of technology is a potential weapon." The Kraxan fleet represented the pinnacle of specialized technological design. Each ship was built for a precise purpose. Each system calibrated for maximum efficiency. Their computational models had predicted total victory with near absolute certainty. They had not understood humanity's true strength. "Adaptive response protocols initiating," Elena commanded. The Phoenix began to transform. What appeared to be standard defensive systems merged and reconfigured. Damaged communication arrays from previous battles became sophisticated sensor networks. Fractured propulsion systems integrated with defensive platforms. The first Kraxan attack wave approached with mathematical precision. Most military commanders would have prepared defensive maneuvers. Elena saw something different. She saw opportunities. Redirect quantum networks, she subvocalized. The ship's adaptive systems responded instantly. The Kraxan energy weapons struck the Phoenix. In any previous engagement, this would have meant total destruction, but this was not a traditional spacecraft. As the weapons impacted, the ship's adaptive systems began to absorb and transform the incoming energy. Fragments of the weapon strikes merged with the ship's defensive systems. What should have been a devastating attack became a source of additional technological potential. Energy absorption at 76%, Chen reported, redirecting into adaptive response network. The Kraxan fleet watched in digital incomprehension as their most powerful weapons were being transformed. Their computational models could not process what was happening. A ship was not supposed to absorb attacks and turn them into additional capabilities. But humanity had never played by their rules. Alina's tactical display showed the battle in real time. Each Kraxan attack became a potential avenue for technological adaptation. Destroyed sections of the Phoenix merged and reconfigured. What appeared as damage was actually an opportunity for transformation. Quantum interference field expanding, Lieutenant Chen announced. The Phoenix was no longer just defending. It was actively disrupting Kraxan technological systems. Their precise, specialized equipment became vulnerable to an approach they could not comprehend. Dr. Marcus Chen's research had proven true. Technology was not about perfection. It was about potential. Kraxan battleships found their communication networks compromised. Precise targeting systems became unreliable. Their computational models began to fail as the Phoenix introduced a level of technological chaos they could not process. Primary Kraxan command ship identified, Alina called out, preparing adaptive response. The Phoenix's transformed systems began to generate a quantum-encoded signal. It wasn't an attack in any traditional sense. It was a technological conversation, a way of speaking that the Kraxan could not understand. Their most advanced battleship began to experience systemic failures, not through traditional electronic warfare, but through a fundamental reimagining of its technological potential. Command ship systems compromised, Chen reported. They're transforming. The Kraxan fleet watched in digital shock as their primary command vessel began to reconfigure. Specialized systems merged in ways that defied their understanding. What was once a precise instrument of war became something entirely different. Elena understood the profound moment. This was more than a battle. This was a demonstration of a fundamental approach to existence. Where the Kraxan saw boundaries, humanity saw potential. Where they saw specialized systems, humans saw adaptive ecosystems. Final adaptive response initiating, she commanded. The Phoenix expanded its quantum network. The entire battlefield became a canvas of technological potential. Destroyed equipment from previous engagements merged and reconfigured. The space around them transformed into a living, adaptive environment. The Kraxan had believed they could defeat humanity by destroying their infrastructure. They had been wrong. Destruction, to humans, was just another form of creation. The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the transmission ended. Representatives from hundreds of civilizations sat in collective astonishment, witnessing the final report of humanity's unprecedented technological revolution. Dr. Marcus Chen stood at the center of the chamber, his presentation complete. Behind him, holographic displays continued to show the remarkable transformation that had changed everything. What had begun as a story of near-total defeat had become a galactic paradigm shift. "We are not presenting a weapon," Marcus explained, his voice calm and measured. "We are presenting a philosophy of potential." The Kraxan delegation sat motionless, their once rigid technological confidence now shattered. Their representative, a senior strategist named Vornak, looked diminished. The civilization that had once believed in absolute technological superiority now understood a fundamental truth about innovation. Major Elena Rodriguez stood beside Marcus, her adaptive suit subtly shifting in response to the chamber's environmental conditions. She represented the practical application of their theoretical breakthrough. the point where scientific innovation met real-world adaptation. Dr. Karina Volka began to explain the deeper implications. Our approach is not about creating the perfect system, she said. It's about creating systems with inherent potential for transformation. The Galactic representatives began to understand. Humanity's technological breakthrough was more than a military achievement. It was a fundamental reimagining of how technology could exist. Where most civilizations saw technology as a static tool, humans saw it as a living ecosystem of potential. Each fragment carried the memory of what it was and the possibility of what it could become. Destruction was not an endpoint, it was an opportunity for creation. The holographic displays continued to show remarkable demonstrations, destroyed equipment that transformed into entirely new systems, technological fragments that merged and reconfigured in ways that defied traditional understanding. Each image was a testament to human creativity. We are not presenting a solution, Marcus continued. We are presenting a conversation about potential. Representatives from various alien civilizations began to process the profound implications. The Zarnak's delegation looked particularly fascinated. Their crystalline computational systems had always valued rigid precision. Now they saw another approach entirely. Elena stepped forward. Her experiences on the battlefield had proven the theoretical concepts. Survival is not about having the perfect tool, she explained. It's about the ability to transform your tools to meet unexpected challenges. The Kraxan representative, Vornak, finally spoke. We misunderstood, he admitted. The words were difficult for a species that had built its entire civilization on the concept of absolute certainty. Dr. Volkov presented the final demonstration. A collection of technological fragments from various destroyed systems began to merge and reconfigure before the Council's eyes. What appeared as random destruction became a sophisticated, adaptive system in moments. This is not magic, she explained. This is a fundamental approach to understanding potential. The implications stretched far beyond military applications. Medical technologies could adapt to unexpected conditions. Environmental systems could transform to meet changing planetary challenges. Every field of technological development was about to be reimagined. Marcus understood the deeper philosophical implication. Humanity's approach was about more than technology. It was about a way of seeing the world, a perspective that saw opportunity in challenge, potential in destruction. We are not presenting a technological breakthrough, Marcus said, his final statement echoing through the chamber. We are presenting a new way of understanding existence. The Galactic representatives began to understand. This was more than a presentation. This was a fundamental shift in technological philosophy. Elena looked at the assembled representatives. She thought about the battlefields where humanity had been nearly destroyed, about the researchers who refused to accept defeat, about a civilization that had transformed near-total destruction into an unprecedented opportunity. The Kraxan Empire, once believed to be humanity's ultimate destroyers, now sat in collective reflection. Their rigid approach to technology had been fundamentally challenged. As the presentation concluded, something remarkable happened. Representatives from multiple civilizations began to see their own technological systems differently. The rigid boundaries between specialized systems began to blur. Humanity had done more than survive. They had revealed a new way of understanding potential. Destruction, they had proven, was just another form of creation.